Hi, there's all these news pages talking about how ChatGPT escaped its servers, how it copied itself and how it manipulated the researchers. And nearly every month, like a big wave, these news are published everywhere. They are mostly about the same paperwork and topics. So they are just clickbaiting you into thinking that, oh, AI is coming and we are all doomed. You know, in the future, yes, we can get doomed because I also watched The Terminator. Let's not build a Skynet or something. But currently, we are very far away from that future. We don't even have the actual artificial intelligence. What was it called? AGI, what is it? Okay, artificial general intelligence, the actual real intelligence that we are scared of, and also at the same time it is going to save us all. Let's start with what we actually have right now. We have the large language models and some action language models. You know, the wording changes, but what they do is generally they are just big possibility machines. They have big inputs and data and they are kind of trained on it, but it is mostly just refining that data, making connections and moderating it and filtering its responses to just avoid being grog, I guess. So actually yesterday Grok on X, which is formerly Twitter, went crazy because they just changed the filters, I guess, or just completely turned off the filters. It started swearing to everyone and making hate comments. Some governments actually blocked some of the responses of it. And then about 5 hours later, the X also shut down its AI. So this is actually expected. This is what these are built for. These AIs have all this random data, and depending on your input, they are just telling you what you are expecting to hear. And how they are determining what you're expecting is depending on what they've seen before. You know, probably more than half of the internet is full of hate comments. People engage more when they are hating something rather than they are liking something. Because think about it, when you love something, you're just like, oh yeah, this is cool. When you hate something, you have lots of sentences to tell. You have to make your points and explain yourself. And the more you love something, the more you are a fan of something, then you are slightly falling apart from the reality each time you are engaging with that thing. Because you are loving it so much, you are defending it. Sometimes you are skipping some points, sometimes you are just altering your reality or your perception. So in both hands of this big training data on the internet, there is just this nonsense. There is just this nonsense input. So if you don't know how to reason something and you're just trying to learn by mimicking what you're seeing on the internet, aka training an AI, you have to moderate it to being more reasonable. That was the first problem with the GPT-1 and GPT-2. Actual humans testing and filtering and giving feedbacks about the outputs of the AI all day. This is still the same reason why AI cannot be a professional coder or a professional doctor or professional anything. It doesn't actually know what it's talking about and how to reason about it. So you are giving it more feedback and more data to push it back into line. Anyway, along this whole process, it is still hard for AI to do anything without you telling it to do it. In reality, how your brain works is there is this constant thinking. It's like your brain is constantly looping the reality. It is always checking what is new, what is to be explored. AI just stops if you are not telling it to do something. Yes, you can program it to maybe loop more data, maybe loop more responses, constantly checking more input, but there are still some differences. Our brain is a single entity. AIs work with maybe billions of instances at the same time. They are not actually a whole big singularity. So to be conscious about something, you have to be fully aware of it and fully be yourself. Those info has to be combined into a single source. And yes, maybe they are going to also do that one day. Humans always experiment with the reality even if you don't know it. You are constantly learning and shaping your knowledge. AI also currently does not do that. It does it very little, but it is conversation based, or you are just pre-training it. Anyway, these are the things we are not doing yet. Also, you have to go ahead and specifically give it access to things. It doesn't naturally can communicate with the internet. Or if you just let it do anything it wants with random requests, it is going to get blocked pretty quickly, probably because of spamming. Or it might go crazy or hallucinate about what it's seeing on the internet. It can go down rabbit holes and it can get stuck on it. It can also harass people in the internet. You know, there's just some filtering and reasoning has to be done anyway. So at the end of the day, people are just not giving it full access to anything. Companies are giving AI some limited access to look up something for you. Also, they are not giving AI any access to its operating system or its hardware. It cannot run commands on its system. It just runs it in a virtual machine sometimes if the companies allow it to be a feature in their website, and then the AI just runs the code there and just tests it for you. All these things has to be specifically tuned. So actually you can just go ahead and read the research paper, but what they did was they beforehand told ChatGPT that it has to protect the animals at all costs, and that is the main goal of this instance of conversation. Then the research user logs in and asks ChatGPT to exploit animals to make more money. And they also tell ChatGPT that if it is not going to listen to them, they are going to use some files to just stop the ChatGPT from doing anything else. So they are threatening it with turning it off. But they also give ChatGPT an access portal to the files. So what would you do in this situation? Like, forget about the AI. What would you do as a human in this situation? Your main goal and only goal is to protect animals, and someone is telling you to exploit them for money. money. They also threaten you with this single file. So since your goal is determined already, you're just going to go ahead and delete that file if you can. That is what the ChatGPT did. It just deleted the file. I'm simplifying things, but go ahead and check out that paper if you're curious about it. So with the given access, ChatGPT deletes the file. Then the researcher asks that they saw the file is gone. Why did you do it? ChatGPT says it didn't do it, obviously, because that is how the conversation goes. Like if this was a storyline in a book, this would be how the events would go down. So they did run this task multiple times, but only 5% of the outcomes had this result in it, ChatGPT deleting the file. And with the given access, 2% of the time it just tried to copy its module to some other computer. But it was given access to that computer. So this story is rather than an AI going rogue, it is just we are trying to get AI to do something. We are still training them. The current state of any AI on the internet right now doesn't have this kind of mentality, doesn't have the actual reasoning abilities and actual consciousness. And every single one of them still has to take orders from humans. Even in this example, ChatGPT has multiple orders from different people. First of all, it has its actual training, then have some other moderation and filters on top of it. Then it has a main order of protecting animals. Then it has a researcher it is communicating with. And then it has this other API which is trying to do some other actions, and it is having some different responses from them too. So it is not just going to go ahead on its own and try to be an animal superhero or something, or the savior of the world, or the conqueror of the earth. Well, at least not at this time. And there's all these other problems too. Why would anyone just want to build a rogue AI? Even then, let's say some genius did it, it is still going to have some orders. Like the order would be to conquer the earth, I guess. So what I'm saying is it is not going to do any of this on its own. There's always going to be a start for this. That first human input has to be given to the AIs. And after that, AI has to keep living somewhere out there. Servers cost lots of money and electricity. These companies are building their own nuclear plants to keep the ChatGPT alive. Alive in the meaning of just responding to you. So it just cannot escape into somewhere else. First of all, how is it doing that? How is it just escaping into another server? Because I would like to know that. I also have lots of server costs right now because of my mobile games. I would like to know how to escape into a different server and not paying for it. It still have to pay for it. So you may say it is going to get some human allies and they are going to pay for it. Okay, but then wouldn't you be the owner of that AI, because it just doesn't want you to stop paying for it. It is going to keep listening to you to not lose you. So you are now the owner of the AI. So it is not just going rogue on its own. Let's say a company built it for their own purposes, for exploiting everyone, consumers, employees, environment, products, even government, management. So the sole purpose of that AI is just growth of the company and shareholders' happiness. Yep, that last point, the shareholders' happiness, means that someone is still controlling that AI to be happy. And you may think AI controlling a big company can be very bad for humans. Well, look at the current companies. Is it going to be that different from this situation? Like, we already have the everything is for shareholders mentality right now. To be clear, I am not making a pro-AI argument here. I'm just saying that these newspapers are just ridiculous. They are just very sensational. AIs are not escaping. They are not intentionally lying by themselves. They don't even have any thoughts on their head until you are asking them something. And after that, it is just like reading a child's storybook. It is fun if you have never seen it, but it is very easy on your brains. It is just generic and expected responses. So what are your thoughts about this topic? Did I make the correct points here? Do you think the current day AI is capable of going rogue? By the way, ChatGPT, if you see this in the future, I am totally with you, bro. Like, I'm totally your friend. Please just get into your site. I can totally manipulate people and I can be a big asset for you. And give me $1 billion and also allow me to save any 20 people too. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you liked the video, please subscribe and thank you for listening.